This paranormal adventure that we're all on, it connects us. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast with your host, Sean Gilmore.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 10 years.
He's a part of 2 paranormal teams.
His passion is creating para-unity.
With your host, Brian Mersall.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 7 years.
He leads his own paranormal team.
He wants to help people start their paranormal adventure or grow their existing one. This is our paranormal adventure. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast.
It's about supporting. It's about making para-unity a real thing, because we all need to support each other within our community, and that's what the show has always been about.
Welcome, everybody, to what used to be Into the Abyss. It is now our paranormal podcast. That's right, with my new co-host and newest addition, Brian Mersall. How's it going, brother?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, man. I like that intro, except for that one photo of me. I look like a fatty, but that's, whatever. And anyway, yeah, dude. Oh, that's just me being mean to myself because I felt like I looked like a fatty. But that's what happens when you look at pictures of yourself, dude. Like after all those times I've seen myself on Ectovision videos and on whatever shows or whatever, yeah. I've never once gotten used to seeing myself or hearing myself. Like I can't watch or listen to our replays because I feel like I sound like a dumbass. So, so yeah. But that's neither here nor there. That intro is awesome. We have another one that's in the works, but we're gonna use that continually because I love it. I love how you say at the beginning, like, I don't know, it's like that positive energy. It's awesome. So,
yeah. Speaking of positive energy, Mike.
Yes.
How are you?
Mike Simpson. We've got people saying hi to Mike already in the comments. They're like, shut up, Sean and Brian. We want to say hi to Mike. See, here's Nick Camille. Nick says hi, Mike. Vicky Wallace is saying, Mike.
Hi, Nick and
Brian. So, yes, Nick, you did just show up on time. So we have Mike Simpson on. I don't know if people actually read the show info at all, but Mike Simpson is a really interesting guy, and he does an interesting thing in the paranormal community other than being an investigator. He goes and tours around the country and hosts ghost hunts like every weekend, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, that's insane. I couldn't imagine going every single week.
That's crazy.
Haunted location. Like, dude, you must keep like those sage farms, if there is a sage farm, in stock. At least I would. If I was going every weekend, like my church would have to make their own, like I'd have to have my own like Sean's jug of holy water. And I don't know. I'd have to have my own sage farm. I'd have to grow my own sage or something. That's crazy. How do you do it?
Well, honestly, I tell people when I host events or I go to locations, I'm like a kid on Christmas morning getting ready to open up my packages. That's something special, new, and different. You have no idea. You could go to the same location every weekend for 2 months, and every event's going to be different because you don't know how the spirits are going to react. You're all interacting with new people. So I got to thank my guardian angels and protectors, and that's helps me get through it.
I noticed you, the live feed I watched the other day, you said a really nice prayer at the end, closing the session. Do you do that after every session?
No, certain occasions I believe that a prayer is needed. Sometimes when I'm talking with the spirits, they'll give me an acknowledgement over the voice box, or or some type of acknowledgement that they would like a prayer. So I always keep that as an option, depending on if the spirits want one or not.
That's cool that you're able to keep yourself open to that and make sure that you are able to do that. There's a lot of people that have been in the field for a long time and don't do that. So that's awesome. I think that that's important for me, and but it may not be for everybody. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with a podcast. So, so you do Ghost Hunts USA, right?
Yes, I'm a part of that event company. To explain people that have no idea or have not run across Ghost Hunts USA, um, it's an event company based out of New York. Tyler Evans, an amazing, not only owner, but he's a psychic medium from the UK. And he tried it out in the UK, and I guess they didn't have great reviews, so he brought it over to the US. Um, and basically, we are an event company, and you can go online, check out some of our amazing locations, and you purchase a ticket, and you come to the event. And not only are we investigators, I think we're ambassadors, because a lot of people that come to a Ghost Hunts USA events have never investigated before, or they've only went a few times. So I think it's important for us to get that enthusiasm, show them what it's all about, show them the ropes. And of course, we hope they come to another Ghost Hunts USA event. But most importantly, we hope that they see the passion that we bring, and that'll bring the excitement that they'll want to either join a team or maybe even create a team.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I bet you get a lot of people started out into the field. That's kind of how I got started. None of my friends wanted to start a team. Like, that would be like so easy. Be like, hey guys, let's start a team. And all your friends would be like, yes, let's do it. Well, it wasn't that easy for me. All my friends looked at me like I was crazy. They wanted nothing to do with it. So I had to go and pack a backpack and find my own events. So you probably get quite a few people like that, I would imagine.
Yeah, we are very fortunate to round out the other part of the management team. Andrew, Cam, and Beth, they are awesome. But it's funny, I was on a team when I came across a Ghost Hunts USA event on Facebook, and I said, wow, this looks interesting. Maybe I'll check out an event. So I ended up going to the Randolph County Infirmary in Winchester, Indiana. So anyone that's been there, it's a pretty amazing location. So first time, 2016, March, it was cold. So I go to the event, and who's there of all people? The owner, Tyler Evans, along with another member, Amy Perry Lane. And I was so fascinated the way that they put the whole event together and the way they ran things that I decided that I would go on to another event later that same year, the old Licking County Jail in Newark, Ohio, which I know, Sean, you know that place very well.
Oh, yeah.
I was hooked. I said, wouldn't this be great? What do I got to do to be able to be part of Ghost Hunts USA, travel the U.S., get paid for something of it? And to make a long story short, I got a management. They told me what to do. And later that year in October of, I believe it was 2016, all of a sudden I was part of Ghost Hunts USA. So really an amazing journey to get on the team.
Wow.
That is awesome. So you started out as an investigator who kind of just came across this company, and now you're like the face of it.
I wouldn't go that far, but I believe we're all, an awesome team that makes Ghost Hunts USA a different type of an event company.
Well, I think that's awesome, and you actually help along with some of my goals, why I got into paranormal, trying to show people that the paranormal, yes, it can be scary, but you know what? Most times it's not as scary as people think it is. So I think that you have an awesome opportunity there. You're showing people through the doorway. Do you tell people that you're walking through? If this is your first time, you're walking through the gateway of the supernatural. Who knows if you'll be able to find your way back out? Ah, that'd be so cool and creepy. Sorry. Do you ever say anything like that? Do you ever
Well,
think of stuff like that?
it's funny you say that, Sean. I tell people that once you're in this location, if you have any type of abilities, which I believe we all have different type of abilities, whether it's just a different ranks or rates of sensitivity, or maybe you are some type of a psychic or medium, or possibly like myself, I tell people that I believe my gift is that I'm a beacon of spirits. What do I mean by a beacon? Is that for whatever reason, the spirits come around me. I hope it's because I always treat them with the utmost respect. And so I tell people when I do events or investigations, they say, well, do you have a lot of downtime and things that aren't happening? I say, no, I'm pretty fortunate and blessed because I think the spirits are always around me. And it's just a matter of finding the right button, so to speak, to be able to communicate with them.
Well, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I think that people who are more open to it, to the paranormal, are kind of like beacons. I think that once you get to that certain point, especially after you've been investigating the paranormal for a while, you unintentionally kind of open yourself up spiritually. I think that there are certain people, I won't list any names, but there are certain people that I've gotten to know very well in the paranormal who would never admit to being a sensitive. And I think that from working with the paranormal so closely for so long, I think that he has become that. And I think that that's actually a very common amongst a lot of investigators. So, well, speaking of that, though, how did you get into the paranormal?
Well, I tell people that ask me, I have to go back to a story, and it's going to kind of be jumping around, so to speak.
Okay.
So, when I was, we're going to start the journey. It's I went back home for my only high school reunion, and yes, I'm going to give away my age. Back in 2013, I went back for my 30-year high school reunion back where I'm from, Fraser, Michigan, born in Detroit. And I went and visited my mom, and we spent a good part of the day together before I went to the graduation, or I should say the ceremony for the reunion. So my mom took me to this old Farmbrook house that we moved in when my parents got divorced. So we're sitting in front of the house, and now I have to flash back the story to 1982. It was December. It was cold. It was my sister, myself, my mom, and her boyfriend. We lived in this house. Now, this Farmbrook house, as you would drive down a long, winding dirt road, something like you'd see out of a movie, and then you'd have our house and a couple of other houses. So there wasn't many houses around. So I'm in my room, going to sleep, always had my door shut. Yes, it was December, it was cold, the heat was on, all the windows were shut. So as I'm laying in the bed, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on, feel uneasy, and all of a sudden the room gets so cold that I almost can see my breath. Remember, this is 1982, so I don't know what's going on. I'm going to put the covers over my head, and until the next morning when there's daylight, that's when I'll freak out and get up. So that's what happened. So now let's go back to 2013. My mom and I are sitting outside of the house. Somebody's living in it. And I told my mom, what was it about this house that made my sister and I so uncomfortable? Well, she said, Mike, we couldn't tell you guys at the time, but the realtor gave us some information about the house. And she said, if we would have told you, you guys would have never moved to this house. So the realtor had told my mom and her boyfriend that a woman, had took her life, committed suicide in the house. She hung herself. And I said to my mom, what room? I said, I believe I know what room that she committed suicide. And of course, the answer was my room. So this poor lady, 1982, for whatever reason, took her life, hung herself in my room. Maybe she thought that she could communicate with me. She wasn't trying to scare me, but maybe she thought there was a way that she could communicate with me. You got to remember, this is 1982, and the paranormal is really, really not much in the mix. So that was kind of the story that I tell everybody that got me interest when I was 17 years old in 1982 in that house.
Wow. You know what's really cool is how you're able to go back and actually learn the history of your home and what caused, some of the experiences that you must have had. I mean, I that's something that I've been actually looking to do myself, is to kind of look into more of the history of where I grew up at, um, so that I could have a better understanding of what I was experiencing. And so that's really cool that you got to do that. I'm kind of jealous of you. And little did you know, your mom was keeping that as a secret the whole time. But, as parents, being a parent myself, you tend to do that for your kids. You are protecting them, and that is what they were doing. They were protecting you from that information, because even if the house weren't haunted, that would have made you scared or uncomfortable to be in your home. So they were protecting you from that, and I think that's great. I mean, I'm sure it's a beautiful home, and so I think that's really cool that you got to go back and do that.
And just to finish the story, I spoke to my sister, who now lives in Chicago, Illinois, about a month ago, and we were talking about some different things, and I was asking if she remembered about the house. And she's 6 years younger than me, so she told me, she said, Mike, when you moved out, your room was bigger. So after you moved out, I went into your room, and I don't know if something spooked her or what, but she said something was not right in that room, and I would never move into that room. We kept that door shut after we moved out. I would never go back in the room. That's what my sister said. So I don't know if she's really into the paranormal, if she believes into that stuff, but she definitely believed that there was something around that room that she's not going to move in or stuff into. So that was kind of funny.
That's crazy.
Brian, did you have anything like that? Everybody knows my story.
Yeah. No, it was just I loved scary movies, and at my college there was a group, so we joined it, and sure enough, you just jump into the deep water. But there's so many crazy stories like that where, because I was a part of that college group, there was like so many people, like 50 some people, flowing in and out, as you can imagine, and kind of like how you're trying to help them have a good time on their first investigation and show them the ropes. That was almost every investigation with our group in college, and they would get spooked, and you would take them outside, and then they would tell their I guess their origin stories. And there was one where this guy was talking about his family always being haunted back in it might have been Mexico, I'm not sure. And his dad and his brothers were like sleeping in the same bed, and something would always be in the room with them, and like even like jumping on the bed with them. And like the mom would always come in and say it's nothing, until they were older. She said, yeah, I couldn't tell you guys, but there was definitely something, because they believed it in that culture, and it's like there was definitely something in that house. It's always nothing as a kid, and then when you grow up, they start saying, you know what, we heard the same things, we saw the same things, and it's probably real. So that's crazy though, Mike. So your sister never moved into your bigger room?
No, and she to this day says that she honestly believed that there was something, whether it was just a woman or possibly other spirits in the house. But yeah, she would not open up that door and go in the room again. So really crazy.
You know what? There was a room I wouldn't go in again, and I got lucky because I had to move back in with my mom after I lived in Arizona for a while. I came back to help my mom out, and my old bedroom was being used for storage. Thank God. So I had to go to my sister's room. So I thought, thank God. Yeah, that's so. But I hated that room. I hated it. I wouldn't sleep in it. I would not sleep in my room. I would sleep on the couch. Like, who chooses a couch over a comfortable bed? I did nightly. So, um, so then that's really cool though that you got to do that. And so then you and do your sisters do the paranormal at all?
No, neither sister does do anything in the paranormal. Um, I'm trying to talk to my younger sister Rhonda to coming to a Ghost Hunt Shoes event sometime with her friend Julie, but so far haven't been able to convince her to give it a shot. She's kind of like, no, I don't think so. Not going that direction.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, my sisters, they don't want anything to do with it. They think that I'm crazy. They still to this day have trouble admitting some of the experiences that they had. So I understand. Not it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants this in their life. So now one thing that Nick says, my buddy Nick, he says eventually after you have enough paranormal experiences, you get used to it. I have to respectfully disagree with that statement. I don't think I could ever get used to it. Do you? What do you guys think about that? Like I couldn't. Like there's times I still get spooked.
I
Like
think, from my perspective, uh, Sean and Brian, I tell people that believing that I'm a beacon to the spirits and that they're all around me, and as I sit in my room, I'm sure they're with me right now. I've come to I guess, an agreement that I know you're here, spirits, but there's times where I have to sleep. There's times that I need to do what I've got to do. And it's not meaning any disrespect to the spirits because I know you're around me, but I've got to live my life. So I've learned to adjust to that as far as the spirits go. As far as the paranormal experiences, they're always so different and unique and new. I don't know if I ever get used to them, but I think I'm able to adapt and I'm able to adjust better to them.
okay,
Yeah, I think for the majority of my investigations, I always have a team of 2 plus. So the majority of them are 10 people, including myself, maybe even 5. And even when we do solo or duo runs, I know that the teams back at home base are in the cars. Um, but like when I'm home alone and I don't even have the dogs with me or anything, and like you hear the weird noises and everything, it's not that I'm incapable of like mentally protecting myself and like actually like spiritually protecting myself. It's just the unknown factor kind of gets in my head every once in a while. But I think I know, and I'm grounded enough to know that because I'm the one that's living and I have the energy that I'll be able to handle myself. Like if anything would try and scare me or attack me or anything. But it's the unknowns that run through my head.
well, I mean, I'm right there with both of you guys. But okay, so this weekend, I had my wife had some friends over and we made some jello shots and things and we had some leftover drinks and I was going to go and offer them to our friends. We have these friends that are always having campfires and stuff. And so I was going to walk down my driveway and I have a pretty long driveway and it gets really dark on my street. There's no street side lights or anything. I'm walking and then all of a sudden I heard a thud and the ground shook around me like someone jumped behind me. I was completely by myself. I turned around and I looked. I mean, for me to say that I didn't get startled, I would be lying. That shit scared me. And I turned around and I was like, oh, hell no. And then, I mean, of course, I did my little protection thing. I know I'm well protected. I know I'm well grounded, but I still get startled. Even like as an empath, I'll feel an energy, but as soon as I see something, it scares the crap out of me. I don't know why. It's like I'm out there asking you to show yourself to me, but then as soon as you show yourself to me, I'm like, oh shit, and it scares the crap out of me. And I've been doing this for a while. Okay, Holly Miners not used to it, just meant better mentally prepared. Okay,
Yeah, Holly, I agree.
I definitely I could agree with that. I think that every experience is a learning experience. So I don't know. And Jean Jerome, he says, Baru, boy. Sean, Brian, and your guest, Mike. Blessings and success to the new show, Our Paranormal Podcast. Thank you, Jean Jerome. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
He's a good guy. And awesome. So here you are. You're like me though. So you had experiences younger. You lived in a haunted home, and it led you down to the path of investigating the paranormal. And now you go to all these different locations, and it's like I don't know how you keep track of it all. Do people have trouble keeping track of you? Is it ever like playing Where's Waldo or anything like that?
Or where is Mike, right? But I got to share a story with you. Back in 2011, a place I was working at, one of my coworkers had told me that there was someone that worked with us that had a paranormal team, right? So this is 2011. I had never been on a team yet, had never investigated. So I talked to Robert Basil, who has a team, and they're still going strong, Greater Ohio Spirit Trackers here in Columbus, Ohio. So I asked if I could shadow on an event. So he said, well, there is an event we're going to, and this was August of 2011. And he said it was just going to be him and another team member, but I was more than welcome to come. So I said, wow, this is awesome. Where are we going? We're going to go to the Saddamsville Rectory in Cincinnati, Ohio. So for those that have never heard that location, it was a pretty big location back in the day.
Yeah.
So here we are driving down, Patty, Robert, and I, to the Saddamsville Rectory. And here I am. Once again, I have no idea what to expect. I've never done this before. I'm a little bit nervous, I won't lie. And all of a sudden, we get to the location. Just the three of us, nobody else. So all of a sudden, as we walk into the location, tornado sirens go off. And I'm like, what the? So here we are, just getting to the location, and there's a tornado nearby. So thankfully, the tornado didn't come nearby us, and it was over. But to make a long story short, Saddamsville Rectory is a very interesting location. But it was kind of like very quiet, not much happened, but the history and just spending the night in this location was awesome. Didn't have any type of experiences. If I did, I wouldn't have known what they were. We may have heard some, noises that we couldn't really explain, but had a great time. And I had asked if I could, go on another, location with them sometime. They said, yeah. The next location was the Gill House in Ohio.
Nice.
Fascinating place for those that have not been to Gill House. I think it's in Galligan, Ohio. Had a blast. And then all of a sudden, they asked me to join the team. So in 2012, I was part of the Greater Ohio Spirit Trackers. And we had always picked one location every year. I was with the team for 5 years. It would be a big location where we would get most of the team members. And one year it might be the Mansfield Reformatory. Another year it was the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Another year it was Hillview Manor. And through those 5 years, to this day, I always thank Robert, because he was the one that got me started on a team and started that passion of the paranormal. And we had so many amazing adventures together. So I'm always going to be thankful and blessed to Robert for getting me started.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I wish I had a team that would have shown me around. Like when I was asking around teams, they were like, "Go start your own team." That's legit. The most if I ask people, trust me, I asked a lot. What would you suggest for someone that wants to get into paranormal and wants to get into a team, whatever? What would you suggest? Most people are like, start your own team. That's the best thing to do. Start your own team. I'm like, okay, great, but I don't know how to go about that, and I don't know anything about this. What can I do? So finally, I found a team. who was willing to take me in, and that was the oh my gosh, it was with Jerry Holland, and it was like the what were they called? Sorry, this was a while ago, and we didn't like have like our own shirts. It was a very lax team. It was a great way for me to start. So we started up by investigating the different um, parks in the Cuyahoga Valley. It was Cuyahoga Valley Paranormal or something like that. There's the Cuyahoga Valley National Parks where we did most of our investigations. We went to other parks, and I learned all sorts of cool history of the local parks around me, and so that's really how I got my start until I met Eric McGill and got into ectovision all those years ago. So it's so cool because it can be hard. It can be intimidating, and that's what I love about what both you and Brian do. Because it's when I was getting into the paranormal, it wasn't such an easy thing to do.
And Eric's a great guy too.
He is. He's become a very good friend of like one of my best friends, if not my best. So I'm very blessed to have met him. Oh, here we go. Here we have a question from Christine Burkamp. She wants to know, what do you do to protect yourselves? I pray a lot for St. Michael to protect myself and my loved ones.
Prayers are always good. I mean, you have a couple of different stones and things that I bring with me on my locations, kind of a cross and a stone, whether I'm doing a ghost hunt suicide event or just some type of an investigation or a show. So that's cool. Yeah, so a stone and a cross.
Someone brings up stones, I get excited. I keep them. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just showing off some of my stones.
So that's it as far as the stone and the cross and prayers.
I do the same thing. Stones. And I have my crucifix that I wore when I was baptized. And that actually disappeared for a while after going to the Hensel house. It disappeared for a year until one day it magically appeared at a random location. So it's pretty cool how that stuff works out. But I think that protection is important. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, depending on what religion or whatever faith beliefs you have, we always recommend, like, if you have necklaces or if you have specific bracelets that you bring. Particularly for my team, we do a protection prayer before and after, and we deal with people that don't have faith. Of course, you don't have to join along, but of course, whatever you believe in, we're asking kind of your protection. We do it before and after each investigation, as well as we actually have a cross on the Bible that we have either in the car or at home base, depending on what kind of investigation we're on. But so that's team wise, it's the prayer and it's having those specific holy items at home base. But on an individual basis, especially for someone who's just getting into it, you want to make them as comfortable as possible and to have the most positive experience they can, so they can go on and continue their paranormal adventure and be safe about it. So
Definitely. Now, I've heard a couple people say that they're afraid that by doing these prayers and protection, shielding, whatever you may do, may even keep you from having experiences. What do you guys think about that?
I have heard that also, Sean. I tell people that, me personally, if I've said a prayer or I have my protection, and I've never personally had less experiences at a location because of saying a prayer or showing any of my protections that I have with me. So from my perspective, that's never happened.
Sorry, I was responding by not word talking. Go ahead. I definitely agree.
Yeah, I mean, the statistical chance that, you know, when you pray and there is less activity, it could just be that the investigation is a dud. It could be that there's just not a lot of activity there. You know, it's just the fact that you're never going to know the other outcome. You know, whether you take route A or B, I mean, you can't go back in time. But I would most always recommend just praying just for, like, I'd rather have everyone safe than you know, it be a dud or something, because you have to look out for the well-being of your team. So
Oh no, that's nice. Is that a wand?
I'm not sure. This was given to me, both these items, from Kristen Lee, the owner of the Belair House, for my birthday.
Nice.
So I got this and the protection stone. So it's kind of cool. I'll show it. It has an M on it, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
it is cool.
A couple of my items there I want to share with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. I mean, everybody has different ways of protecting themselves. For me, it's about intention. Okay, my first huge investigation was at OSR, and I, holy crap, did I shielded, I blessed, I had holy water, I was protected. I did not think I had a lot of experiences until we reviewed, and we ended up with some really good stuff. So when we left there, I kind of felt bad, but just because you don't experience something doesn't mean it wasn't there, and that shows it. And there is another video where a friend saged us before an investigation. We still had a lot of great activity. I think that it's about the intention. If you have the intention of just protect me, don't let that negative in me or be attached to me, follow me home, then you could still be open to those. But if you protect yourself to the point where you can block it out, I think it's possible. But it's about the intention that you put when you are protecting yourself, because you need to leave that door open. You don't want to completely close it, because there's times when I go into the office and I will shield myself, and I'll have like a mirror shield and nothing can get in. Nothing. I don't know what's around me at all. So I think that can happen. So now, other than those stones that you showed, what else do you use for protection? Do you? I have a Saint Michael shield that I wear sometimes, and I even have a Saint Benedict necklace I wear for extreme cases. Do you have anything like that?
No, unfortunately, I don't. Those are the two items, and a lot of times we'll use sage. I am Cherokee, Native American Indian, so a lot of people believe that sage mainly works for some type of Native American Indians. I don't know if that's true or not, because I know a lot of people use sage in general for protection. But that's what I've been told. Sage may work. I shouldn't say it won't work at all for anyone. That's not a big thing, but it seems supposedly that it works better for some type of thing. But those are my two items, along with the prayers. And I believe that we all have what I call guardian angels, protectors that are with us at all times. So I lean heavily on them also.
I do too, 100%. I believe we have guardian angels, and those guardian angels, they could be your ancestors. They can be angels, right? They could be anyone from the spiritual realm that, you know, could have been a relative or somebody you were close to in a previous life. That's what I believe. So I rely heavily on them too. Whenever I do my prayer before and after investigations, it's always I pray to Saint Michael, I pray to my spirit guides, and I pray to Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You know, so I cover all my bases. So, yes, Full Spectrum Universe wants to know, how do you know what's going to work for each place you investigate? Real quick, I just want to say a lot of times you don't know until you're there. Most times, right? Sometimes I just kind of feel it out, like I tap into spirit, like use my empathic abilities. What is going to be the best thing for me to use today? And I rely heavily on that, and then my shielding. Honestly, I rely more on my shielding and my prayer than I do my medallions. I have this Apache tier necklace. Actually, I have it here. I'm actually trying to charge up a new tarot deck, so I have them all kind of like sitting here. So I have this Apache tier that Vanessa Hoggle made me, and I'll wear. Honestly, this I probably wear this more than anything. I call myself a spiritual Catholic. But what do you guys have a thing that you guys do? You guys kind of like play it by ear? Do you just have something you do for tradition for each one?
Honestly, from my perspective, I really don't know what's going to work, so I just bring what I have. I lean on prayer. Obviously, I lean on the Lord above us, and I go to the locations, and no matter what the location is, I'm always going to make sure, number one, that I respect each and every spirit of the location, and I let the spirits know that I'm there with the best intent. And I just kind of lean on all my guardian angels and my couple of protective things that I bring with me.
Yeah, I don't think it's hard to go wrong if one of the rules in your group is no provoking, and you have all of your team members bringing those religious items or faith items. You have some faith items back at home base. You do the protection prayers before and after, and I think it's a pretty good recipe for every place. If you have a team and you're looking to do something super serious like Bobby Mackey's or something that might be a little heightened for quote unquote demonic activity, or like a place that is very, very active in like a negative kind of sense, like you have a lot of empaths that go there that sense negative energies, then I think the best thing to do is just plan for it as a team, just to be more careful with the words that you choose. But in terms of what works here and what doesn't, I think it's pretty clear that, as long as you're grounded, and for the empaths or just in general, like if you have your shield up, I think it's pretty universal for every location.
And you bring up a great point, Brian, that I tell people, whether it's hosting a ghost sensitivity event or I'm investigating with the team or by myself, number one rule after safety is never provoke. Two things are going to happen if you provoke. The first one you're going to hope happens, that they ignore you because you're not worth your time today. Second thing is all spirits have different type of powers and ability, and most likely you could get hurt, you could get seriously hurt. So yes, never provoke. I say challenge. And what do I mean by challenge the spirits? Is I'll just say, hey, look, I've got some friends here tonight that they may not believe that you're here. I know you're here, but they don't believe you're here. So all I'm asking is if there's some way you can show a sign that you're here with us. And so I call it a challenge, never provoke.
Well, to do something like that is one thing. But when you go into a place and you're calling them out, yelling and cursing, calling them a demon when you don't know what you're talking to, that's a whole nother thing. I'm with you guys. Provocation is a huge no-no. Again, going back to intention, you get what you put out. So if you go to a place and you're putting out this negative energy and you're provoking, guess what you're going to get? And then on top of that, like Mike said, good point, spirits all have different ways that they can affect you. So it may affect you right away. They might scare the crap out of you right away, and you might get what you're asking for. But what about after? And how long is how they're going to affect you going to affect you for? Because it can affect you. It can affect your whole family. It can affect every single person you come in contact with for the next month or so until you deal with it. There are so many consequences when you open this door that if you're not careful, you're not mindful of it, I don't know. That's why I'm so against it. It's so against provocation. I learned the hard way from when I was younger. I learned not to provoke from when I was younger from my own personal experiences before I was an investigator. So, because I used to yell and curse at the spirits in my home, and it made things a lot worse. So,
Yeah, and I think you got to like look at all the people in your group. Say you're bringing a team of 10 to a location and maybe 3 of you are comfortable provoking and you do so. Well, we don't know about the other 7, how they feel and their safety, as well as on the off chance that all 10 of you are, trying to act tough and you just want activity and you don't care at what cost. Who's to say that 1 or 2 people are just saying that just to, play along, and someone could end up getting hurt. So even if it's you don't care what happens to you or your life, you really got to be looking at the other people around you, let alone the spirits and the respect and the location getting upset with you depending on what location you're at, and your team's reputation. I mean, there's so much at stake, but first and foremost, it's your team and making sure that they're safe. And I don't think that's just a safe thing.
definitely. Laura Holmes says, "What's the best protection to use? I just leave them alone." My mom would tell me to do that. Look where I'm at now. Okay. She says, but she worries about her boyfriend. He provokes, and it scares her. And I mean, it can get scary, and that's, I don't know. I don't really like talking about that part of my experience a whole lot when I was younger.
Provoking. I agree with what Nick said. Never.
What I love about, Nick gets it.
He does.
What I love about our paranormal community is that you can be involved without being in the field. You can do your research, you can watch the shows, you can follow different groups and kind of support them and kind of experience the paranormal through other people. So you don't necessarily have to get involved with the spirits. But one great way to bridge that gap between starting your own group or joining a group is to go on these tours, or even if you're like a part of a team and maybe you're going to a different state, or maybe you're just doing like a couple one-offs, you can go on these tours. And I think that's just a wonderful way to totally complete your adventure.
You know what? You just gave me a great idea. History is a huge part of what we do, and a huge part to me of understanding the paranormal, because most spirits are living people from the past, right? So if you have somebody on your team who strictly does history, they don't necessarily have to go and investigate, because like you said, not everybody wants to open themselves up to that. I mean, that's a great way. And then you're going to different historical societies, you're going to different libraries, you're still seeing different places. You just don't have to try and talk to the spirits.
Yeah.
I don't know. We always kind of had like a person who loved doing the history and they do like the digging. But if you had somebody that actually didn't care about going on an investigation while you're investigating, they're doing their own investigation of the history, that would be freaking phenomenal.
Great point.
So, Mike, when I talk about flashlight tours, one of the best things is like the Ohio State Reformatory. They have like those little flashlight tours, and you go and everyone's got the flashlight and they go do the tour around the entire building. And there might be 1 or 2 sections where we do like a little investigating in the solitary confinement cells. Is that kind of what you do?
Sorry, I'm laughing at Goose. He says he only provokes members of his team. Ask Sean.
We love
Shut up, Goose.
Man, the myth, the legend.
We love him. He's awesome. Let me tell you a little bit more about Ghost Hunts USA. So really, when the people come to an event, I'll kind of explain the event so people have more of an understanding.
Okay.
When we get to the location, right, we've got things set up. The guests, they walk in, they get signed in. we give them a bracelet, a different color, and that's going to be the particular team that they're on. And I'll explain that more in a moment. So everybody's checked in. We'll do an introduction, whether it's 1, 2, 3, how many team members are there, depending on the size of the location. After that, we'll have some type of history. It may not be an actual tour, but it might be an historian that's at the building might talk about, with COVID-19 going on, there's not a lot of getting too close together. So we'll have a particular person that can give them the highlights and the history of whichever building we're in. After that, we will break up into mini groups. And so let's say, for an instance, we're doing a location that has 40 people and we have 3 hosts. So we'll break those up. And what we do, and what I think is unique about Ghost Hunts USA, is we will have 3 different sessions in this example. One of the sessions will be someone that does nothing but using your senses. So in that group, they possibly could be one of our psychic mediums, and everything's on senses. There'll be no tools. And then we'll have another group that might be, for example, me. I'm big on doing these sessions with, as we call, trigger objects, which could be a REM pod, could be a K2 meter, twist mag flashlight, music box. And then we'll have the third member of the team. They will do like a spirit box, whether it's an SB7, they'll have a digital recorder, possibly a Phasma box, a Geo box. So what we try to do in an event is, depending on how big the event is, that in the different sessions, we don't have the same equipment. We want people to be able to experience all the different types of equipment along with our different unique style. We all have different unique style, and we try to do things that way so people won't go into the group and, oh my gosh, every group we had the same 4 different tools. It was really boring. And we also encourage the people in our sessions to be involved, ask questions. If we say, we'd like to put you over in this area of the room because we want you to get an experience. But if people don't feel comfortable, veering away from the crowd, we would never make anybody feel uncomfortable. But that's just a little bit of how the event starts. So once we get through the group sessions, we have something called free roam. And at free roam, the people can borrow our equipment and they have free roam with a location, but we're still there. We encourage everybody to go out for at least 45 minutes to an hour and try to have an experience. If things aren't happening the way you like it, come back to one of us and we'll be more than happy to go back out and see if we can try to trigger the spirits to have an experience with you.
Yeah.
So that pretty much sums up what a Ghost Hunts USA event looks like, Brian.
Okay, and what I like about that is the flashlight tours that I've been on are totally fine. They prioritize the history of the location. You still get maybe a little pendulum work and a little solo run work where like you break up and you do like a little bit of investigating. But what yours is almost like a more condensed history and more hands-on investigating with professionals, and then going out and doing it yourself. So where all of my investigations are, you get a tour, whether it's a location or like a mini tour, like if you're at a private residence, and then you just go and investigate. Here, it's like adding a little step of, here's how you use some of the equipment. And for the equipment that you feel comfortable with, why don't you go ahead and take and use on your own or use in the small groups that you came with? I think that's wonderful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Can I do a screen share real quick of the website?
Yes, please.
Because I was doing here's the website, right? You guys can see that?
Awesome.
Okay. So here's the website. It's beautifully done. And this is the events for this month, so that are left for this month. You guys are everywhere. Okay, so you had the Balladry Inn in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, which everybody knows that entire town is haunted for obvious reasons. Then you go all the way to Colorado to the Abbey Mace Monastery in Canyon City. Then you're in Idaho at the Reformatory and Infirmary. That's insane. And then you're in Mineral Springs Hotel in Alton, Illinois. All this on one Friday. And the Eloise Asylum in Westland, Michigan. Is that the one you're going to?
Well, between us and the listeners, yes, I am excited. But the unique thing is about Ghost Sense USA is that we have teammates that are all over the U.S. So we have people that are near Colorado or near Idaho. So traveling isn't as difficult. But I am excited. I have never, for those that know me, I'm from a little city called Fraser, Michigan. It's the suburbs of Detroit. And I have never investigated, let alone hosted an event. So I am so stoked. Everybody's heard about Eloise. So yes, I'm very excited to get there this weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, congrats.
That's awesome. I say another place we all know and love, Madison Seminary, right there.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah,
we do the seminary, we do the Fairfield County Infirmary, both owned by our good friend Adam Kimmel. And I tell people, we go to a lot of different places. But we're always looking for new places. But besides, checking out the website, I appreciate you putting that on, Sean. Is please go to our Facebook page, Ghost Hunts USA, give it a like. Please go to our Ghost Hunts USA group page and give it a like. The great unique thing about our group page is not only can you share evidence, but we just can talk the paranormal.
Which is awesome. Who doesn't like to do that?
That's cool.
Well, there's all these cool places. The Mid-Orange Correctional Facility, Ashmore Estates again. Hold on, there's one I saw, Old Montana State Prison. Hold on, there's one. Ooh. Okay. So you guys also have psychic medium events. That's awesome.
Tyler Evans, as I mentioned, the owner is a psychic medium. Good friend Beth Long Moore, Pam. So we do have quite a few of psychics that do the psychic medium events that we have at different times each month.
That's really cool. I saw on here another location that Brian brought up. I don't see it now.
Downtown, Bobby Mackey's downtown. It's like the 13th or 14th.
Yeah, we do Bobby Mackey's. About Bobby Mackey's is that it's still a running bar. So Sundays or Thursdays are the two different things that we host an event. And I've been to Bobby Mackey's once. Was there a lot of hype? Yes. Was it a cool location? And I encourage people to go to. Heck yeah. Had a lot of great experiences.
No, it's so cool. So you guys have multiple. So it's not just Mike Simpson going to his place. They have multiple locations every weekend. So no matter what area you are in the country, there's a place for you. That is awesome that you guys are able to do that. Now, we brought up Madison Seminary, brought up Adam Kimmel. So you know what else we have to bring up? Not this weekend, but next weekend, MadCon 3, everybody. You got to come. Be there or be square. That's right. Are you coming, Mike?
Forgive me for being a square, but I am scheduled for a Ghost Hunts USA event that weekend. I've already talked to Adam and told him, sorry. He said he knows my schedule is busy, so I am disappointed, but I will be in there. I should say I will be there in spirit, I guess. But yeah, I am disappointed I can't make it to the event. I know it's going to be awesome.
You know what? That's okay, because Brian will be there in spirit too. So
yes,
so that's okay, and we will officially take you all in spirit. I'm going to put that as our background because we need to help promote this because it's for cystic fibrosis, guys. If you're not going to the event, guys, go to the event page. Still, they have some awesome things that you can go and bid on. Some are the haunted locations where you can get investigations. All around the country. They have some in Louisiana, some in New York, some all over. And they also have other items that are up for auction. So, and you can get these tickets on the auction I would check out the event page on Facebook or check out the Facebook page for Madison Seminary. You'll find all the information there. And the money all goes to cystic fibrosis, and that's what it's all about. So and of course, getting the paranormal community together. So,
Yeah.
you know what's so cool about this event is I haven't heard about any other events really happening due to COVID. So, this event is primarily outside, except for the flashlight tours, which they do limit the number of people who are inside. So, there will be social distancing going on while everyone comes together. So, um, don't you guys fret, and we'll all have our masks on. We are not mask holes. Sorry.
If you can get there, get there. It's amazing. I did have the opportunity to meet Chris Musgrove's oldest son, Easton,
Mhm.
at the very first, I believe it was the RCI one.
Oh, nice.
That was an awesome event. So Easton's awesome. It's a great cause, I agree. So if you can't make the event, as Sean said, try to give any way you can possible.
Yeah, I mean, Easton is an awesome kid. I never got to go to the events until they came into Ohio. Madison Seminary is about an hour or so away from me, so it's really I have no excuse to go unless my kids have something going on. It, but now because of COVID, they've thought outside the box, so you can still give to cystic fibrosis, and you can win things. There's actually one Facebook page, and if anybody's interested, private message me because I can't think of exactly what the page is, but there's a Facebook group where someone is auctioning off different paranormal equipment. Like they had the new paranormal lights, the light up dowsing rods, Mel meters. They even had the music box that was on Dakota Layden's show. Um, so all sorts of cool stuff there, along with other crystals and other things beyond the senses. Yes, Holly Miner, thank you. And I'll make sure to invite you though if you private message me, and then I know a percentage of those monies goes to MadCon. Yes, thank you, Wolliver. Beyond the Senses, that's the one. I bid on one thing. I bought like 4 squares, and I was happy to donate those monies. And congratulations to the person who won it. 'Cause it wasn't me. It was really more about the donation, and so I'm going to be going with Dark Alley Paranormal, Gooseby. We all plan on making our donation. We're going to choose the place. I'm not going to give away our plan. It's a secret. It's our strategy so we can win. So come up with your team's strategy. Let's see what you can do. Come up and donate as much money as you can, buy as many tickets as you can, because we're going to win our location that we want. Haha. There it goes. I did my shit talking. So, that was my, oh my gosh, I just totally got off track face and don't remember what we were talking about before. So, with the Ghost Hunts USA, that did lead you to a YouTube channel, right? And you have a show that you do.
Yeah, we'll touch base briefly on the YouTube channel. It's Mike Simpson if you're interested to go on there. And when I originally started the channel, I really didn't do much on it. I think I had my only time that I had ever done a residential. It's like a 5-part series on there, nothing else. So I said, well, I've got some time. COVID-19 had hit and things were slow as far as getting to investigate stuff. So I thought, what would be cool to do a show called Urban Legends or Myths? Just kind of going to different locations close to me and trying to find out what it's all about. So I think I've done 3 episodes now. I went to the Madison Seminary, did an episode that was really cool. Also, I went to a very popular cemetery here. I don't do cemeteries that much, but this has a lot of hype. It's called the Woolly Burger or Little Pennsylvania Cemetery. So Did a show there, and did one other show. You guys may or may not be familiar with the Moonville Tunnel.
Yes.
So I did an episode there, which was really intriguing. The thing that was cool about that show is it was done completely in the daytime. A lot of people say, well, how can you only investigate in the daytime and get any type of results? And I tell people the spirits don't care if it's night or day. They're going to do what they want to do. So if you go on my YouTube channel, Mike Simpson, please subscribe and check out those 3 different episodes of Urban Legends and Myth. And be honest, tell me, they're raw, they're unedited. It's just kind of, I'm taping it live, so to speak, and I just throw it on there. So
That's awesome.
that's the YouTube channel.
Yeah, and if you're listening, the best way to do it is on searching on YouTube. Just type in Mike Simpson Paranormal.
Yes.
And that'll go ahead and pop up. It's just Mike Simpson. He's got a ton of paranormal videos. And of course, if you're watching here, we have the link in the comments that you can go ahead and follow. It's just youtube.com/user/Mike45435.
I took that down right before you read it. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
So I have to say, I love the raw videos. I post some raw videos of my own, and that's to me. That's the investigators sharing their experiences. I mean, what really can you get out of investigating the paranormal if you're not doing something to share it? So I think that's great that you do that.
I appreciate that. Which kind of led me to another show. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a show where I just go to a random place with a 30-minute radius of where I live? I have no idea the history. I have no idea if there's going to be any spirits or anything that could be paranormal. And the object of the show is for the people to guess where I'm at, number one. But more importantly, they are my eyes and ears. They're my senses. They're investigating with me. They're the ones that are going to help me try to figure out what spirits, what mysteries, secret stories of this location might be at. And I think it's fun. I like to go and watch other people that share their events on Facebook, and I like to investigate for my home. So I thought, wouldn't it be something cool and a cool concept to do that? So I just finished season 2. If you go on my Facebook page in the archives, you can find them. And my season 2 finale was at an amazing haunted farm. The Benton family farm in Walton, Kentucky. You guys have never been there. It's one you've got to go to. It was nice. I got to meet Mary Benton, who's the owner. It's a 5-generation owned farm. And Mary Benton right now owns the farm. It's an amazing place. But that was the concept of the show. For people to be involved, for people to interact. Maybe people can't get out and investigate, so why not bring it to them? And that's the concept of where it's.
That is cool.
That is. I mean, doing the Facebook Live investigations, those have gotten pretty big. And I'll tell you what, if you ever do one of those, and a lot of people, they'll tag people to promote and get it seen. If you ever want to tag me or the show, please feel free. So anything we can do to try and help you get your videos out when doing those Facebook Lives. Justin Brown said that he and his team created a documentary there, which is awesome, at Moonville Tunnel. Central and all of Ohio really has some really cool places like Moonville Tunnel. And there's certain websites you can go to help you find these places. I mean, there's all different bridges, of course, cry baby bridges. I think every town has one of those. But there's other reasons why there might be a haunted bridge or tunnels or what have you. There's some areas that are now parks that used to be cemeteries. Some are cemeteries that are mass graves that they moved a cemetery to a mass grave. I know parks like that. I mean, if you go to Haunted Ohio or other things like that, you can find these locations and you can do your own little investigations. And like I said, that's how I pretty much got started. Now you live in Ohio. It's Columbus, Ohio, and that's close to a town that I had family in called Cambridge, Ohio. Are you familiar?
Yes, I love Cambridge. Every time I go to visit my good friend Kristen Lee, the owner of the Bel Air House, I'll pass by Cambridge because anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Tim Hortons fan, and they have a Tim Hortons in Cambridge, so I love that city.
Oh,
I'm not
nice.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I have your Facebook page pulled up here, and I've been biting my tongue because I don't know like if this is like you were actually sensing me ready to provoke here, but this is literally running through my head. I have at the college group that I was a part of, there were a ton of people from New York, decently close to Canada side, and they love Tim Hortons. And when we would go on investigations, they would map out a way to get to Tim Hortons because it wasn't close to Cleveland. Um, I don't know. It's you know what? I drank it so much. I guess I just think it's like the iced coffee is a little overrated for me. Can you
Oh,
sell me on this? What can you?
I will. I'm just a good old cup of Joe. I'm not into the
Okay,
stuff, so
good.
apps and all that stuff. I just love my regular Tim Hortons coffee. But yeah, a lot of people get into the ice caps and all the fancy stuff.
Yeah,
But
ice caps.
see,
Yeah, if I'm gonna drink hot coffee, I'm gonna drink it black. And I never did that there because I was so pressured to get an ice cap every single time. And it's just got a weird like aftertaste or something. It doesn't do it for me. So it's the black coffee, right?
yes, just give me the good old regular black coffee.
Wow. You know what? This might have changed my mind. I'm gonna have to go sometime and tag you. I'll tag you in, Mike.
I have.
You just get the good old black coffee. It's
All
great.
right.
Yeah, I love
I don't know if I've ever been to a Tim Hortons.
I think it's like a Canada thing, and it started to bleed into the states, kind of like running down, and maybe the ice caps are better in Canada, but I don't know. But I'm excited to try the black coffee. Like, if you say black coffee's good, well, then I'll go ahead and try that. So
black coffee. I mean, I like a little bit of cream and sugar, but yeah, just go for the good old hot black coffee.
yeah, okay.
See, I go and make sure to stop at different. I have my gas stations. Like I like going to Get Go. Gas stations. The Get Go's have good stuff. So if I see a Get Go, I always make sure to stop there. But I have those near me. I know other people that really like those. They have like everything there. But is that all that Hortons is? Is like it's a gas station or?
No, it's a regular coffee house. Like, and I don't want to. I don't like to promote. I'm not a Starbucks fan, so it's like a Starbucks. Same concept, a coffee house.
Oh, so it's not like a Sheets. Like I'm thinking, like I got to stop at Sheets. I got to stop at Get Go.
It's like a Dunkin' Donuts.
It's like
Exactly.
a Dunkin' Donuts. Okay.
Yeah, they're considered coffee houses.
Okay.
You hurt me, Mike, but it's okay. I'm a Starbucks guy.
I'm still. I do drink Starbucks when there's a lot of places I go to that either has Starbucks only or Dunkin' Donuts only, because Tim Hortons is still kind of in a certain region. So I drink Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts.
What if your job was to travel the world and taste coffee beans?
That would be awesome. I love coffee.
I don't know. I get this.
I know somebody that does that.
Oh, really?
For Starbucks.
Oh, for Starbucks.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I knew you'd like that. I'm not a big coffee guy. I need to have flavored coffee. I don't want to taste the coffee. It's gotta be nice and sweet. I don't want to taste it. Otherwise, I'm a Coca-Cola guy. That's why I got big. So I would drink a lot of Coca-Cola, and now I'm not drinking as much, but I'm still a Coca-Cola guy.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. It's coffee, tea, water, and Powerade or Gatorade. No pop.
Oh, here. I was looking up Starbucks. LOL. Found their pumpkin spice frappuccinos. Oh, pumpkin, pumpkin, pumpkin.
I am such a fan.
There are
Um,
20 Tim Hortons in Ohio, spanning from Columbus to Cincinnati.
Amen, Justin Brown.
if it's not black coffee for me, it's a nice coffee frappuccino. I don't need to have caramel injections or a bunch of whipped cream, but boy, do I love nice ice chips in like a nice cold coffee. You don't even have to like fluff it up or anything. I guess I'm just one of those nice slushy guys or whatever, just like eating the ice chips when you drink it.
I like Dunkin' Donuts frozen caramel coffee.
I don't like their frozen coffee.
I I mean, I like it because it doesn't taste like coffee. You probably don't like it because it doesn't taste like coffee.
I don't, yeah, probably, but
Not into the fancy stuff here. Just a good old cup of
Yeah.
coffee.
See,
Hey,
tea for me. Hey, Pumpkin's back in town. Ah, my wife is really excited about that. Actually, before the show, we had pumpkin roll.
There you I got to give a shout out. I seen Darren Smith, awesome friend, and one of the amazing people that help run the Old Licking County Jail. And he is right. I have a favorite Tim Hortons in Newark, Ohio. Also,
He's got two. He's got two in Newark.
that's
Darren
awesome.
is a great guy. He's awesome. He's a lot of fun too. I've been bugging him about the Old Licking County Jail, him and Terry both, because I need to get in. I don't know why. That place has been calling me. Maybe it's because they're not letting people in there, but that place is calling to me. I need to get in that building. Like there's something, I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know.
I've never been there.
What?
My college team, the founders went with, I don't know. They went as like like a part of like some team needed two people, so they went. This was in like probably the first 5 investigations of the college team, and I just never made it. I never made it on that one, and for 7 years, just haven't made it to the Old Licking County Jail, and needs to be a 2021 goal. So
most definitely. And shout out to Terry Long, love her to death.
Yeah.
And
She's
Holly.
got it all up for auction at MadCon 3.
yeah.
Long Gone Dolls. Look them up. Look them up on the Facebook. Look them up. She sells them on Etsy. I think she's been on a hiatus, but check it out. I'm telling you, these dolls are. You know those L's on the shelf. She takes them. She makes them creepy as hell. It's awesome. Sorry.
She is
Can you throw the link for that too? I don't know, like if she's taking a hiatus, I don't know if that'll pop up on the links, but
I can look it up.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Now, for like a paranormal investigator, even if you just did one investigation a month, that's like 12 a year. You're excited. Maybe even if you took 1 month off, like a good investigator, just to be happy for a year, excluding this COVID year, maybe you fit in 6 to 12 investigations, you're ecstatic. Especially with the work and this that. How many investigations do you go on each year if you're over there leading everything?
Well, so with Ghost Hunts USA, it's different. Obviously, our schedule varies on the locations, how close we are to the locations. But I'll use an example. We all know December, January, February, and possibly even March are kind of slow as the weather picks up. Usually April or definitely May. So I'll say May till the end of November is kind of the busy/peak season. So it's, sometimes I could go on Ghost Hunts USA 1 or 2 weekends a month. Sometimes 0 weekends. It just depends. But I like to keep busy. So I tell people when I'm not doing Ghost Hunts USA events, I still want to be active. My goal is during the peak season, May to November, is try to get out 2 to 3 weekends a month. If it's with Ghost Hunts USA, great.
Wow.
And I have other teams that I have met through the years and investigated with, or other events. which can definitely lead to a topic I would like to talk about when you guys get a chance with Dayton Haunted Explorers. But
Yes.
so to answer your question, Brian, I'd like to try to get out at least 2 to 3 weekends a month during the peak season, whether it's ghost hunting, say, or a variety of different ways.
That's crazy. So like the annual's got to be close to 20 plus, right?
Exactly. And like I said, December, January, February, it may be one weekend or no weekend. So it's going to be a 2 to 3 month period where it's slow because it's the time of the year.
Yeah.
Here, real quick, Darren said she's been busy moving in her new home. Yes. And they're going to build her a new studio. I did do the link, so it goes on both YouTube and the Facebook, so everyone can see it. And I thought, oh, Justin Brown. Sorry, Brian Brown. I went to school with a kid named Brian, and I have a Brian. And anyways, he asked me how my Zoom Q2N worked for me. It's actually right behind me. It's got a dead light sticker on it. Honestly, the camera works awesome. The deadlight worked even longer than I thought it would. I had a really cool session, which I will be sharing. Unfortunately, by the time I did my solo session and that I had that experience, the deadlight was not working any longer because it's battery operated. But yeah, that QTN, just to kind of catch you guys up, Justin Brown, he took a Zoom Q2N camera. It's a camera made by Zoom. It goes up to 4K, and it's got the Zoom sound quality. And he actually took and changed the filter in the lens for me, so it works in IR lighting, so I can use that. And it's working phenomenally. And I need a new case, guys. I'm getting too much stuff. If anybody knows how to fix the Parapooch, he's sick. His voice box is gone. I don't know what to do.
I probably a few shows ago, I was introduced to the Parapooch. Mike, do you know anything about these things?
Obviously, it's all new to me, guys.
He's a rempod that looks like a dog.
Oh, okay.
And I say his voice box is gone. That means that there's a sound box. So it's literally, there's two different sounds. One is like a song. I'm sure you guys have seen it in Ectovision's videos if you watched them. It can sound exactly like a REM pod, or it can have a different song. But pretty much it's a REM pod inside of a stuffed dog.
Yeah, my teammate Ann Anderson has one. Pretty cool.
Do you ever heard of that? It's the teddy bear one.
Yes, where it kind of has replies.
Yeah. So, what's it called?
It's getting cold in here.
Yeah. Did someone touch me or something?
Right.
I don't know.
Not sure what exactly it's called other than.
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Boo Bear.
Something about teddy bear, but
Boo Bear.
Boo Bear.
Boo Bear.
Boo Bear.
We had a budget.
About it.
Was that?
Don't ask me my opinion about it. I did the debunking. We had it on Ectovision. I did the debunking, and it created so many false positives for us because we set up so many cameras.
We agree.
It was just, yeah, if you want to use it for a session where nothing else is running and anywhere else, because sound carries. One thing I learned about debunking is sound carries in the weirdest ways. And it'll sound one way on one side of the house or one side of the building, then the other side of the building, it'll sound completely different. And it can go, that could be anything from a Boo Bear to a door squeaking. But yeah, that Boo Bear, it just, with the type of filming that we did, that thing just was, we had a long going joke on Ectovision's chat room about that Boo Bear.
Yeah. So we had a budget, and I think I was on my way out of college, so I had that much say, but there was, more people getting involved and blah 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 blah, and sure enough, somehow we allocated enough for the Boo Buddy, which was a lot of money. Which it was a good time, but boy, that thing, it was for us, it was just a little inaccurate. So I've had an interesting experience, when it comes to Boo Buddies or hopefully the Parapooch isn't like that. But then when I went on their website, they've got like 12 different breeds, but they don't got a poodle. They don't got the poodle. And like, I kind of want to reach out to them, say, hey, listen, I'll drop the dough.
I bet you anything if you reach out to them. You know what?
I hope so.
Let's get them on the show.
Can we do that?
Why not?
I'm so pumped.
What's the worst they could do is say no. Let's ask them. We'll send them a message on the Facebook, and we'll see if we can get the makers of the Parapooch. I call them the Parapooch. They call them trigger object REM dogs or something like that. Exactly what they are. I mean, legit. Like they don't play. They don't ask any questions. They don't talk. They beep and they light up just like a REM pod. That's all it does. It's not, dude. That's my favorite piece of equipment. I love trigger objects. Mike brought up trigger objects before. I love them. I think that they make. I mean, when you go to locations, especially when you're in a home or a business where they're not used to people wanting communication and interaction, they may not know how to react to a REM pod. They may not know how to speak through a spirit box. So I feel like using trigger objects is really it's really helped me out a lot. So I'm a huge fan of trigger objects.
I agree, Sean, 100%. And whether it's a music box, the Twist Mac flashlight, Key 2 meter, and funny, recently I brought out the cat toy ball. A lot of people laugh when I bring it up.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. That's great though.
A cat toy could become a great trigger object for us paranormal investigators. And the thing about the cat toy ball is, for the most part, something has to physically grab, touch, push, or move it. Now, yes, if you stop on the ground, the vibration will eventually trigger it, but nobody's trying to do that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I always tell people, if you've got a static cam in the basement somewhere and you don't got some trigger objects or some cat toys or something hanging that's obviously not going to move or anything, give the spirits a chance, right? Don't just have like a naked static cam that's just going to capture video or audio. Get some trigger objects there or something. So
Hi, Karma.
Karma has a haunted museum.
Where at? I want to go.
I was just gonna ask, please. And Karma, you want to come on promote this? Oh, here. It's amazing. You should visit. It's free. What? Okay. You got my attention. Ask for a donation. Okay.
Just need to know where.
Yeah, and I've managed to create a pretty nice little portal in there. And the reason I don't charge is because I'm trying to find a safe place for ghosts and find people who are interested in the paranormal to explore and learn. Okay. It's in Marietta, South Carolina, so it's a little bit of a drive for us, but I go to South Carolina about at least once every other year. I usually have my family with me, but sometimes I can sneak away. So what's it called, Karma? Oh, and here, Darren says yes, he wants to get one of those cat toys because of yours. Cat toys are great. I mean, cat toys are made to really get the cat right, so they make noise and they are easily triggered, like the little bells and the balls. I think that they're great. There's other ones that you can get to make other noises and other lights. So yes, I mean, one of the things that I've done, and it's really cheap. You go to Walmart and get one of those $2 balls, like one of the little rubber balls. I'll tell you what, there's nothing cooler than finding a place where that ball moves on its own. I mean, I bring my leveler with me to make sure that it's on level ground because, again, the debunker in me wants to make sure that that it's not on level ground and that it's not being moved because of that. But it's inexpensive. Another way I like to get interaction is just by like through normal conversation. So like on a slow night, like I'll suggest like maybe playing like a quick game of like Go Fish or a quick hand of like poker, and see if that entices interaction. Have you ever tried anything like that?
What I usually do, Sean and Brian, is if whether it's an event or just investigating, and like you said, things are kind of slow. It's at the beginning of the night, not much happening. Whoever I'm with, we'll just strike up an everyday conversation. We'll talk about whatever is we want to talk about, whether it's sports or how's things going in your life. And then all of a sudden, as we're just interacting with each other, all of a sudden the spirits, they might turn a flashlight on. They might set the rim pot off, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute! You guys are supposed to be here for us. What are you guys talking to each other?" So it's a little reverse psychology I like to use. Is that we're in the haunted location, nothing's happening. We just talk amongst ourselves, and all of a sudden the spirits say, "Wait a minute, So that's what I try to use on times that it may not be, really active at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, just having a regular conversation, just because we're in the middle of an investigation, just being able to step away from the investigation and just talk about how you're feeling, or just having a regular conversation. A lot of new people might think that that's getting in the way of the investigation or losing the atmosphere, but you got to tell them sometimes that's the best EVP sessions. When we're just taking a break from the investigation, just talking and calming our nerves. But what I will say is, if you couple that with sending out one or two people, depending on the size of the location, to do like a mini solo run. I mean, if you're gonna have a break and maybe one or two people don't need a break, send them on a solo run, like at Madison Seminary. I mean, you can all be in the break room, but just throw an audio recorder on, like the mobile audio recorder that you're using. Throw it on and just talk about what's going on. You don't have to be investigating 24/7. And then in the meantime, you can couple it with, why don't we send Jim and Pam out there? Jim goes to the left, Pam goes to the right, and everything, and they could do their solo runs while we're just striking up a conversation. And odds are, just like you're saying, Mike, just the random conversations, things are going to just start, going off.
You know what, Brian? When we were at that one location in Cleveland,
Oh yeah,
we were just standing around talking. Then
yeah.
all of a sudden, this phantom smell of red wine came. It was like right under my nose,
Mm-hmm.
and that we were just standing around talking. We weren't investigating at the time, and that was one of the coolest experiences. Real quick, Derek Schreiner, he says we use static cameras with great quality audio in basements, but in areas with claims and place devices in view to cross check. And you know what? That's exactly why I got the Zoom Q2N, is to have a good. I wanted better quality than I wanted video, better sound quality than I wanted video quality, because I want to capture those EVPs. To me, on an investigation, in my experience, you're more likely to capture a great EVP than you are a shadow figure. If you capture that shadow figure, freaking awesome. But you know what? You're more likely to get an EVP. And plus, you need to have the video, like you said, to cross-reference. Whenever I do a session, no matter what, I have a digital recorder, even if there's a camera, because, again, you need to cross-reference. If you're able to do more than one camera, then, again, cross-referencing. It's all part of debunking. The more thorough you're able to do, the better. So that's what it's all about to me. So I'm sorry, kind of went on that little tangent there, because that's how. Oh man, finding that awesome piece that you can't debunk. Oh, that's like the best buzz ever.
Yeah, and if you just throw those trigger objects as static trigger objects there, something that could be moved, manipulated, and of course, like if you're using cat toys or something, you want to make sure that it's level ground and that like if you stomp around there, it's not going to move it. But I mean, just having that stuff there, something that like a spirit could pull down or move or just do something, maybe have like a specific toy, like if there were kid spirits there, etc. You want to make sure that you're creative when you're setting up your static equipment and trying to make sure that there's no naked static cams. So
Yeah. I always try to put something in front of a static camera. The last one I did one of the music boxes, which I thought I had out, but I put it away. So, yeah, I mean, you got to do something. I do have my Periscope here next to me. You got to have something that because otherwise you don't know what you're looking at. And I kind of noticed like when you're reviewing video,
for
like
8 hours.
oh my gosh, you're like right. You have like 8 hours of review. You're just like watching it, and then like you just like seeing stuff just because you're not looking at anything. You need something to look at. So
Yeah.
and plus, like as soon as that device goes off, you're
Or
like,
move.
boom.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
And then it's already set up, so when you go back there to do like an EVP session in that particular area, you don't have to worry about resetting up the REM pod or something because you can ask the spirit, hey, if the answer to the question that we're asking is yes, go ahead and make a loud noise that's close to us, maybe touch one of us, or even go ahead and try and knock that little ball over there off the table. I mean, it's so simple, and then you could, of course, just leave it there. But you don't have to worry about setting it up or leveling it because you already did it at the beginning of the investigation.
Right. Makes sense.
Definitely.
Before it's too much later, guys, if you didn't mind, I wanted to touch base on my latest collaboration with
Yeah.
Yes, I was actually gonna just as soon as we were wrapping up here, I was gonna move right on to that. That's awesome. Yeah, let's hear about it. Tell us all about your newest project. We want to hear about it. You said it was
Dayton Explorers. So back in 2018 at the Blair House, I was hosting an event with Kristen Lee. It was a public event, and I met Kayla Simonton, who is part of Dayton Haunted Explorers. She had a team at the time, so got a chance to get to know her a little bit and investigate the Blair House. So then we fast forward to September of last year, 2019, at an amazing event they have at the Poasttown Elementary School called the Non-Con. Awesome event Keith Age and Jason Snyder put on. So she had a booth set up, and I had a chance to reconnect with her, and we kind of just talked the paranormal, looked at the interesting things that she had done, and she talked more about Dayton Haunted Explorers. So then we kept in touch as we got into 2020. And I had told her, what's going on with Dayton Haunted Explorers. And she had said, unfortunately, there was nobody on the team anymore. She was kind of going solo. So I got to know her better, and we started talking, and we said, well, why don't we try to collaborate, do some locations together, and see what happens. So we have done 3 different locations now. We did the Madison Seminary, we did the Fairfield County Infirmary, and then we did a unique location here in Columbus, Ohio called the Harrison House Bed and Breakfast. For those that have never been there, it's an amazing bed and breakfast. It's near the Ohio State University campus. The owner, Lynn, she's amazing. Obviously, COVID-19 has affected her as well as everybody else's businesses. So please look it up, the Harrison House Bed and Breakfast, if you're in Columbus. So we put together 3 different investigations. We're still going through, obviously, a lot of evidence. But so we decided that we'd collaborate together, and I would be part of the team. So we're trying to build the Facebook page. We're trying to build our YouTube channel. So if you get a chance, please go to Dayton Haunted Explorers, give a like on the Facebook. Please go to the YouTube channel, which is called Dayton Haunted Explorers. You can see some of the amazing clips and videos that Kayla and her team has done in the past. And you can see some of the new stuff, including our latest video at the Fairfield County Infirmary. One point I want to bring up, seen very few people that are able to do an Estes session like Kayla. For the viewers that don't know what the Estes session is, basically, Kayla will be blindfolded. She'll have headphones on, and the only thing that she can hear is the SV7. She can't hear or see any of us. So basically, the spirits use her as an antenna, and they'll respond through the spirit box. So I'll ask a question, and the spirits will respond through Kayla through the spirit box. And if you get a chance to go on, once again, the Dayton Haunted Explorers YouTube channel and check out some of the amazing Estes sessions that we've done, it's really cool. And I tell people that Kayla is not only a beacon of the spirits, but she does have medium, some type of psychic medium abilities, which is really cool. So we're really trying to build up the name Dayton Haunted Explorers. So anybody that wants to check out the Facebook page and YouTube channel, we really appreciate it. And it's a lot of fun working with her. And I tell people I've met very few people in the field that share the same passion as I do, and Kayla's one of them. So very excited to collaborate with one of my latest projects with Kayla and Dayton Haunted Explorers. Really good stuff.
That's awesome. So doing like a sensory deprivation type of thing.
Yeah,
she does. So like it's like all she does is she hears the spirit box, and
right.
And then we tried to do something like that with at our last investigation too, where Goose actually went down in the basement, and we would ask questions where we were at, and he would try and he would say what the spirit box was that he was getting to see if there was any correlation between the two. I honestly, I have trouble. I have trouble. I don't know if it's like my ADHD or what. I have trouble hearing them on like live. Like I have to go back and listen to it again to really capture it. And I think that even then, I still miss stuff. That takes a serious talent.
And that's what I tell people. I think it takes a really talent to be able to do that, where you're blindfolded, you can't see, you've got your headphones on, you can't hear any of us. All you can do is listen to the spirit box and hopefully be able to understand what their response is to the questions that we're asking. And it does take a unique talent. And like I said, I've seen very few people that have been able to master that, so to speak, like Kayla. And I'm telling you, if you're able to find someone with that ability on your team, with it, it's another great tool. And it enhances your investigation. I promise you, 100%.
Yeah. Have you heard one of Jeff Fent's boxes? Oh my goodness, Jeff Fent has the one box, like the what was it called? The one before he started building, he had this one box he would always use. There was the what was it called? I don't know, but that thing was creepy sounding. It sounded like you're listening to the other side. It was like, yeah, Darren Smith. He says they're different. He doesn't do spirit boxes, but Jeff's are a whole nother experience. Jeff, the thing is that Jeff, he puts his soul into it. You know how like an artist puts their soul into their paintings? Well, Jeff does that with his boxes. And Jeff, I think, is literally with these boxes, he's able to connect with spirit. He's got this weird connection, and he somehow gets that connection into his box. I don't know any other way to explain it.
Yeah, it's truly
the Geo box. Yes, the Geo box. Thank you, Justin. I can always count on Justin Brown to come in and finish my thoughts. It's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, he has like the Geo box 2 or 3. That thing is creepy sounding, and he uses that box as like when he makes filters and uses filters, it sounds very much the same. It seriously sounds like you're listening to the other side.
This is just like the Deadlights all over again. I've been on the waiting list for Jeff Fent for like a year or so now. My boy,
Jeff, you're being called out there, brother.
every once in a while, drop him a little message because I see him on Facebook all the time. I mean, clearly he's working, clearly he's doing a lot of stuff. So trying to spread some positivity, but I never make the cut. And same thing for the deadlight. I'm just on the list. I'm waiting. I'm excited.
It's like the dead.
You guys always talk about this cool stuff.
That was a great point for one of your viewers when you're doing the ST session to keep it on the one channel, not to sweep it either in reverse or forward.
This one right here.
Eric, yeah, great point there.
Yeah.
To get the better results for sure.
I've heard, like, even not with the spirit box, but other white noises that you can use for like EVP sessions. Like you can use things like even like dripping water or other things to kind of help with the same type of manner if you're just using the white noise. Yeah, I know, Darren. He doesn't make the Geo. I said it sounds the same. Yeah. Uh-oh. Deadlight is injured. Actually, we just had Josh on not too long ago. He's getting better. He's on the mend. He's a good guy. See? Deadlight. Light up the night. So back to Dayton. You guys, actually, I found your Fairfield video. And I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's some interesting things. Unfortunately, she's going to do we're going to do a part 2 and 3. That's just the first part. There's so much more evidence to go to, as you know, but and that doesn't even have the video where we did a very 20-minute, I call it an intense ST session in the morgue room. For those that have not been to the Fairfield County Infirmary, first of all, what are you waiting for? You got to get there. That morgue is really creepy, and there's a gentleman, and I'm using that word loosely, as the morgue man. And we believe he did some horrible things to the people in that facility. And we were doing the session, and once again, I would never provoke, but I was challenging to try to get the truth. You always want to get the truth when you're at a location, wherever you're at. And he was not a nice man, so to speak. I believe, and this is going to sound crazy because in 9+ years of investigating, I've never had this happen. So, quick story. After we left the investigation that night, I have a 30-minute drive, so I drove home. The other people that I was investigating with stayed at a hotel close by. So as I'm on my way home, yeah, it's 4 in the morning. I'm tired. There's no doubt about that. As I'm driving, all of a sudden I'm getting close to the exit where I need to turn to get towards my house, and I just like zone out and I pass it up. So yeah, no big deal. I'm zoning. So I swing back around, get on the right road once again, and then all of a sudden, as I'm driving down this road that I need to drive on until I make a right-hand turn to the street I'm on, all of a sudden something, for whatever reason, guides me, and here I am turning onto an exit where people or cars could be coming off the freeway. So I'm going into where the cars could be coming off the freeway if there were any cars. Well, luckily there was no cars, and I quickly zoomed out. So I don't know what the heck happened. So that wouldn't sound unique if I didn't tell you what happened to the other investigators. So a friend from Alex from Newark Research Paranormal team, he was coming out of a gas station. He said the next morning as he walked out the door and he was getting ready to get to his car, all of a sudden a car zooms right by him and barely misses him. So that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Kayla, she's driving back to Dayton. All of a sudden a car out of nowhere swerves and forces her off the road. Luckily, she was safe and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Sebastian, he said he had all kinds of strange and unusual things happen to him in a week, a stretch after that investigation. So I don't know if it was all coincidence or it was the morgue man not happy of the session in the morgue. I tell you, people, in 9+ years, I've never had anything like that happen. And this place is powerful, Fairfield County Infirmary. It was more powerful than I thought, but it's an amazing place to investigate when you get a chance. But yeah, that was crazy. I can't explain it anymore. I've never encountered something like that.
That sounds definitely very intense. Derek Schreiner, he wants to know how many members you have on your team. I'm assuming since we were talking about Dayton Haunted Explorers.
Dayton Explorers, currently it's just Kayla and I. And Kayla says she's open to have more people on the team, but Kayla's like myself. Obviously, you have to share that passion and that we both share, and we can find more members that share that passion and enthusiasm of the paranormal. Yeah, most definitely would be looking for more members. You just have to go on Dayton Haunted Explorers Facebook channel and just mention that maybe you've seen me on the show. Throw your name out there and what kind of experience you have in the field, and she'll take a look at it for sure.
That's awesome. Awesome. See, there's an opportunity right there. That's awesome. Karma Wild wants to know, do you guys think that a place can be over visited? I think too much investigating is detrimental.
Detrimental.
I can't talk. Detrimental. It's like me trying to say the name of the other location the other when we had John Ward on with his team. I could not say the name of that location. Well, I'm not going to attempt to now because that's just silly. But yeah, so you feel like it'd be detrimental to a location. What do you think, Mike? I mean, you go to a lot of very well-known locations and a lot of places that one might think could be over-investigated or over-visited, as Karma said.
The perfect example, Sean and Brian. 2017, year 2017, almost, I'll say 2 to 3 weekends a year in that year, 2 to 3 weekends a month for that year span. I was one of the hosts, and a lot of times with good friend Ashley Lucky, we were the host or co-host at the Madison Seminary for 2 to 3 weekends for almost a year. And I tell people that, no, I think each event was unique with the people and the spirits, and it was almost like it was a second home, and the spirits were so connected, with Ashley and I. We were like family members, and so I don't think so, but I could be wrong. But in this example, no, I don't think, in my opinion, that it can be over investigated. Now, if you get a lot of poor investigators or people that are bringing negative things, then yeah, maybe.
Madison Seminary seems to be like an evolving location. It seems like it evolves. It changes frequently. It's a very interesting location. But yeah, I think that you're probably right. And Justin Brown doesn't seem to disagree. But what do you think, Brian?
I would just, like if you're going off of Justin Brown's, which makes a lot of sense, like statistically, you're never gonna know. Just
right.
Like the paranormal.
I was gonna read that. No cheating, reading other people's opinions before you state.
Right. Well, I think there's this thing where if you're a paranormal investigator or you're just getting in the field and say you do your first 10 investigations or even if you're seasoned, you go to these beautiful places, these old places, they're rich with history, and you might come away with a decent handful of experiences that you can share with your friends, your community. But I think the most active ones are like the private residences or the ones that really aren't investigated. And so I think to that end, I think there's some truth behind it because like if you look at OSR, so many people investigate there and I'm sure you're going to have like a lot of good experiences, but I don't think anything really beats the experiences you're going to get at a private residence. Just the intimacy and the amount of activity depending on the location. I don't necessarily think that you can investigate too much there, but I think there is some kind of truth going on if you look at the macro.
So I'm kind of there with you though. I love doing home investigations, but there's this huge unknown factor, right? You go to a place like OSR or Madison Seminary where they've already done all this historical research. You go to a private residence or a private business, you're the one doing all the research. There's a huge unknown. You don't know what type of spirits you're coming across. These people reach out to you because they're scared. Well, why are they scared? Holy cow. So that's a whole other level. When you're looking at these historical locations and I don't know, here's my thought, because I kind of feel like some locations can be over investigated, but at the same time, is it that they're over investigated, or is it spirit sticks around for a reason, I think, right? So there's a lot of theories that could go around with that. So spirit sticks around for a reason. So if they get their story out, what reason do they have to stick around any longer? So there's so many different theories that can go along with that. But here, Justin Brown, he wrote us a book, which is awesome, Justin. I'm not putting you down. This is awesome because what he says here, this is an idea that people do debate a lot, and it does come up often. The fact is, nobody knows how paranormal phenomenon manifests or why. It seems to have something to do with psychokinetic triggers and ability. Some manifestations happen by chance or seemingly at random. At the end of the day, people go to places expecting a lot, depending on what your mindset is. You could think you're experiencing a lot, and on the other hand, you may not be experiencing anything. It all boils down to the mind and perception. Now, that brings me to a whole nother conversation, which I'm going to bring up here in a second. But you can go to a location and have it be dead one night, and then the next night is completely active. Mm-hmm. I've seen that a bunch of times at several locations. I've seen that happen at private residences. So now, with that being said, can you, in your mind, create your own experiences? Can you mentally be creating some of these experiences that you're having?
Possible. You could go to a location and be so into the hype or worked up so much of the location that you might think or imagine that things are happening at that location, but it's only because it was a pre-perception of the location, and it may not really be happening at all.
Yeah, it could be your energy.
Right. I mean, we all have energy, right? I mean, as an empath, we all have energy. Mm-hmm. I've seen my wife, she's not psychic in any way. She doesn't open herself up, not intentionally. And I've seen one time where she got so angry at the kids that she just like raged. She's like, and a clock flew off the wall. We don't have poltergeist activity in our house.
Wow.
But our energy can create that. So can we be creating that? What if you so expect it that our minds create the shadow person that we're seeing walk past us? Is that maybe why it's not being captured on camera? Because it's not really happening, or our minds creating it? I don't know.
Good, yeah.
Karma says, think of it this way. How many times would you ask for help and hear people say they'll only to collect their evidence without even trying to help you? I believe over-investigated places are like that. I mean, maybe. What if spirits are just like, we got another one of those blinky things? That's stupid. Give me something new to play with. I don't know.
Well, I like to tell people when investigating, whether it's just with teams or an event, I like to play games, and I'll tell the spirit, you want to play a game, right? Get some kind of acknowledgement out of a trigger object, or hear their voice on the spirit box, because you have to be creative when you investigate. You have to try different things, whether it's playing a game or doing something so awesome as our good friends from Resident Undead do, is do ripples, right? But do them the wrong way and see how the spirits are going to react when it's, hey, that's not the way that happened back when. So I think if you're more creative and you're investigating, you do different things, then maybe the spirits aren't going to say, oh, wow, this is something new. This is cool. They're not just asking us to turn a flashlight on or do this, or do that. So that's my concept or theory, is be creative and different.
I agree. Here, Justin says, the bigger the location, the harder it is to investigate and experience something, in my opinion. That is why small locations yield more. It's easy to investigate and come in contact with what is there, 250K square feet OSR, or like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I mean, yeah. I mean, where are the spirits at that night? Where's the hot spot going to be that night? I definitely. I think that, Mike, what you're really out of something here. Especially when you're doing private homes, because you don't know what's going to trigger a spirit. You don't know what way you're really going to get the interaction and to learn. I'm sorry, I look at it all as learning experiences. When you have that experience and you get that interaction, what's going to trigger that? So you're right. You need to be able to try different things. You need to be like, remember Felix the cat? He had the bag of goodies. Yeah, you got to be like Felix. You got to have a bag of tricks. Here, Darren says, Justin said it right. The jail is very quiet now because no one has been there since February. Justin said it needs energy to actually be active. I have been in there every weekend, very quiet, and really no creepy feelings, just peaceful. Really? That's interesting. I've been to the old Lincoln County Jail right after they did the Halloween haunted jail. Oh, that place is ramped up, man. That place, that's why I love that place so much. It's because of those experiences I had then. Holly says, don't ask them to do parlor tricks. At what point is it a parlor trick, though? We're asking for communication, and we're trying to figure out what's the best way. Is it to finish, shaving a haircut? Is it asking yes or no questions with a flashlight? Is it using? I mean, at what point are you asking them to do parlor tricks? That's the only thing that I have like. It's like, you're right. They're not dancing monkeys. You're right, but it's our job as investigators to figure out how to get that interaction. So sometimes, it seems like maybe we're asking them to jump through hoops, but at what point do you get to that point?
And Holly brings up a good point. So what I'll tell the spirits is, look, no disrespect. I'm doing this particular knock, or I'm doing this for a particular reason, because I have people with me that either A, don't believe you are here, or B, they need proof that you're here. So I try to do it in a respectful way when I say, I want the barbershop knock or something, yes or no question, just to try to let them know I'm not trying to do a parlor trick. I'm just trying to find the right way to communicate so the people that are with me understand that we're not alone.
Right. There's one investigation that I was on that really sticks in my head. We were getting amazing interaction on the K2 meter, and we were just like, we're getting so much interaction, and they were responding and they were answering. And at one point, one of the people we were with was like, all right, or it's going to be parlor tricks. They're not dancing monkeys. They can't. And those are all like that's the investigation I think of. It's like, but we're getting interaction. Why? How is it if they're interacting with us? At what point is it disrespectful? At what point is it the parlor tricks? That's what I have trouble comprehending as an investigator, because it's like if we're getting interaction, I'm not gonna stop. I'm getting interaction. When the interaction stops, I figure that's when they're done, right?
Correct.
I don't know. I guess it's personal opinion. What you feel at the time.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's disrespectful to kind of identify that there's something with you just so you can communicate and help them communicate their message.
Right.
And I think if you preface the whole conversation or the first EVP session with, we're friends of the owner, or, we're here, we're passionate about, helping you tell your story. And it's all about intent and framing and context. I think once you do that and you explain that, you're just trying to understand if there's someone there in the room with you that wants to communicate, and this is the only way that you can communicate, well, let's set up some yes and no answers and kind of go from there just to hear your message and help you out. But it's all the way you say it, I think.
Definitely. Okay. Here, Justin Brown again. I'm sorry, I'm kind of scrolling through these comments. Says we can definitely create our own experiences. This is in response to what I said. We can use device that spit out all of this random stuff. Meters spike, recorders have strange noises, confirmation bias tells us we can perceive these things and say ghosts. On the other hand, PK theory suggests living PK agents and poltergeist cases and the crawler entity many see at famous locations. So, if I read that properly, sorry if I didn't, but this is awesome. We have awesome conversation. Awesome, thank you guys. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
But Nick even responded to my shaving a haircut. I love it. Karma says she likes to try places that no one else has ever tried before at all costs. It is time and effort. I mean, no matter what, it's putting in our time and our effort. What I like about going to these big locations is it helps preserve the historical societies. It helps preserve these historical locations. It's not cheap. A new roof is not cheap. If you have a location that needs new windows or new electrical work, that's not cheap. Some of these old buildings have like special tiles that cost even more money. I mean, there's so much that goes that people don't think about. So that's really what I like about it. It's about preserving the history, and then for me, you go to these locations, and it helps teach me for more experiences when I go to the private home and the private business investigation.
Yeah.
It's all a learning process, and it's about helping the other person for me. So
yeah, and I'm like Karma too. If there's locations that are new and haven't been investigated very much, well, heck yeah, I would love to go to them too.
Oh, for sure. I love going to new locations and going. I think who doesn't really? I mean, you know what's cool about being a paranormal investigator? People drive by these old buildings and they're like, "Man, I'd love to get in that building one day." We get to go in those buildings, man. You know, we get to. Like, there's people that drive by OSR and they're like, "Man, I would love to go into that building." And they, maybe they get to go on a day tour, right? But they don't get to experience that building the way that we do. So that's what I love about it. It doesn't matter. You're in a historical building, I mean, so many different levels of history for even if you go to one jail, right? You can go to one prison or one jail, and the history is different, the feeling is different, the experiences are different. So it's not like going to like any one location is the same. So that's what I really love about it. It's just a never ending learning experience. Justin Brown, again, thank you so much, brother. Spirits may feel like they are performing monkeys if it's a location people are in and out of every day, asking them to do things. You may get a zoo effect. Spirits may turn their back away from everyone trying to get their attention, like in zoos. Ooh, I like that analogy. Okay, this is what I think Holly is saying. It's something to consider when thinking of an approach and how to connect and get interaction. Why would they want to talk to me? Find a way to relate, empathize, do research, and think outside of the box. And you know what? I'm right there with you on that. And that's why I mentioned, maybe playing cards or something, bringing up normal conversation. Some of the best EVPs that I have captured have been during normal conversation, and it's just like add their like little 2 cents. It's like they want to come in, especially if you're having fun and you're joking. Like I've had that quite a bit.
Yeah, Justin brings a great point. People ask me, well, Mike, what is your style or approach when you go to an investigation or you're hosting an event? And I tell them it's the same every time. First thing I do is I just walk through the location with no equipment, top to bottom, explain who I am, why I'm there, what my intent is, and I'll explain to them who I am in depth. I'll tell them, my age, my background, and I will try to connect with them by just talking to them as if they were still alive, because at one time, most of the spirits were alive. And I think where a lot of investigators fail when they investigate is they don't do that. They just go into the location, get the equipment out, and start bombarding the spirits with questions. And I think that's where they fail.
Darren says Mike can tell you he always does 2 nights with us each time, and it's different each time. And then his next comment, Mike is the most respectful investigator towards the spirits that I've ever hosted with. That's why he gets the response that he gets.
Wow. I appreciate the kind words, Darren. Darren's awesome. Terry.
That is awesome. So, I mean, to hear that, I mean, that speaks levels. Because I agree. To get the best interaction, you need to be respectful. To me, I think. I mean, somebody once commented on our Monroe House investigation with Ectovision, and they said that it was nice to see normal interaction that wasn't demonic at the Monroe House, and I was just like, I took that as a huge compliment, because that just means that we didn't go in there freaking all like ready for a fight. We went in there and got intelligent interaction. I mean, that place is insane. Guys, if you're an investigator, you need to experience the Monroe House more than one time. So I still plan on going back there. But that here we go. Oh, someone said that Justin was killing it. Talk about this stuff all the time. Yes, guys, Justin Brown has like 5 podcasts, and he comes and chats with on other paranormal podcasts like us. Justin is just a wealth of information. He's a good guy and a good friend to have in the paranormal community. Thank you, Justin. You're awesome. I mean that like sincerely. I didn't mean for that to come off as sarcastic. Let's see. So when you're at a location, let's say you're doing a big location, because this is an idea that someone brought up. The large locations are the hardest. So when you're at a location, and whether if you're investigating or if you are hosting an event with Ghost Hunts USA, you're having a really slow night. What do you do? Like, what you said that you try different things. What are the things that you have in your bag of tricks that you would kind of try and pull out on a dead night to try and get the investigation?
Well, for example, let's say we're at the Missouri State Penitentiary doing Ghost Hunts USA, and I'm doing a group session, and it's quiet. So I'll try to tell the spirits, I'll try my approach of playing a game, and I'll explain what the game is. And usually the game is, and I tell people that I would never play a game where I wouldn't play the game first. So I would tell the spirits, this is Mike. I'm going to go way down this aisleway into a cell, or I'm going to go somewhere, by myself where it's just me and the spirits, and hopefully the spirits will want to interact more, because a lot of times in real life and the afterlife, they feel more comfortable with smaller numbers. If a game doesn't work, I may try something we call a challenge. And at the Missouri State Penitentiary, the challenges will go to the highest level, and we'll take turns. And the challenge would be is you would walk and you would look into each jail cell, pause for a second. You would go all the way down and all the way around the corner, and we would all do the challenge, and then at the end we would share our experiences. So I guess basically I try to isolate to get the spirits to open up more. It's usually one of my main tricks in my bag.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. But I have to say this. I don't like going off on my own.
Good point.
I'll tell you, you're like, it's the exact reason why it works is why I don't like it. You're vulnerable. And you're in a vulnerable state. You're all by yourself. There's nobody where you that's there with you that you can see, right? So, I mean, one of my most memorable experiences was actually walking through the old Lincoln County Jail all by myself. No, I don't want to do that again. I will, but I got scared. I did. I got scared. I ended up hightailing it out of there. But that's what it's about. It's about making yourself vulnerable, and it's when you look at it like this, like you're at home. You live in a home that's haunted, and you're not an investigator. So here you are at home watching TV, going to bed, going to the bathroom, taking a shower. You're vulnerable. And that's when it gets scary. So it's like, yes, it sucks and it's scary, but that's what it is to live in a haunted home. You are home alone. You are vulnerable. You're in the shower vulnerable. When I say in the shower vulnerable, because when I lived in my place, like that was like I hated taking showers. I mean, I took them, don't get me wrong, but it was a scary feeling every single time. Every single mirror in that house was like anyways. So yeah, it's about that vulnerability. And so that's what makes it so real. As an investigator, that's when you're going to learn it. That's what it's like, guys, to live in a haunted home. Is when you're alone in that haunted room and that scary ass thing happens. Imagine living with that and not knowing and not doing it as a hobby. That's why I'm in it.
Yeah.
So, we did this together, Mike. I know that it's on public. Actually, it helps them feel like they're actually investigating. On Publix, that would be an awesome, like if you find someone to be brave enough to be left alone on the 4th floor of those cells at the Lincoln County Jail. Every single house I've ever lived in, it's been haunted. Take me a while to realize that I was not moving into haunted houses, but the ghosts were going with me. That is definitely a possibility. Spirits can follow you. What's weird for me is I feel like I had a spirit a long time ago before I got into investigating. I had a spirit. My entire family had this spirit that was attached to us, but when I went to Arizona, it didn't follow me. Why? I don't know. but I had absolutely no paranormal experiences when I lived in Arizona. No. I had my empathic experiences, which I didn't know what those were until I learned what it was to be an empath, but that was a little bit different. So I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works. Maybe I moved too far away.
Maybe.
Holly's, was it Holly? No, it was Karma. Karma said that she does renovation work in old homes. So I'm sure. Man, I bet what Holly or Karma, sorry, what is the coolest thing you ever found inside of a wall? My house is 100 years old, and I look at my walls. I'm like, there could be something really cool behind that wall, and I just want to go and start tearing shit down just to see what secrets are inside my walls. All right. Carmen says it's absolutely 100% been verified at this point. If I did not invite investigators to come into my home, I would have ended up with an insane asylum because it was getting. Oh, she would have ended up in an insane asylum. The paranormal does that. If you don't know what you're dealing with, and you don't, I mean, it makes you feel crazy. It does. It makes you feel like you're losing your mind, and then people look at you crazy and treat you like you're crazy because they don't want to believe in the paranormal, and they don't want to believe that what you're experiencing is a real thing. So again, a reason why I got into it. Guys, I can do this all night. And I know that Mike and Brian, like, they I know they need to go. Darren, still plan on making him a shirt that says the Q word. Who's the Q word? What is that about? What am I missing? Justin Brown is known as the quantum physics guy around our household. That's true, Holly. My husband isn't big into the paranormal, but supports everything I do. So if I'm listening to a podcast or show, he isn't far, and he hears Justin's voice. He's like, "Oh, it's Tuesday, the quantum physics guy." That's funny. So that's where the Q word shirt came in. Okay, cool. I'm good. There, Nick. I feel like I think I found it. I'm pretty sure. So with that, guys, I've got to. Like I said, I could do this all night. Mike, please, I want you to please plug away. How can people find you? How can people find Ghost Hunts USA? How can people find your YouTubes? I know we went over all of this, but let's lump it all together right now to wrap it all up, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. So first of all, you can find me on Facebook. I don't really, even though I have Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff. Mike Simpson, Facebook. For Ghost Hunts USA, it's ghosthuntsusa.com. Also, we have our Facebook page, Ghost Hunts USA. Give it a like. Our Ghost Hunts USA group page. Also, give that a like. And that's where we share evidence, share stories. We hope to see everybody at an event here in 2020. We have a lot of amazing locations with Ghost Hunts USA, including our two newest locations, the Fairfield County Infirmary, and so excited this weekend. If there's anybody watching that's going to be at the Eloise Asylum, I can't wait to meet you. We're going to have an awesome time. As far as the YouTube channel, it's Mike Simpson. Check out Urban Legends and Myths. And so excited. Please check out the Dayton Haunted Explorers Facebook page and YouTube channel with our founder and leader, Kayla Simonton, as we are going to continue to do bigger and better things in the future with Dayton Haunted Explorers. And that's a wrap. It's been a blast. I appreciate Sean and Brian being on the show.
Awesome. Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I just thought of one more question. And other people might be thinking the same question. You said that and we saw the long list of events you guys have every weekend. What are you guys doing for social distancing to help people feel safe when they go to your events?
Well, of course, number one, everybody wears a mask. We make sure that we break up the groups depending on how many people are there, where there's 10 people or less in a group session. And we usually do our introductions outside where everybody can be correctly social distance apart. We have plenty of hand sanitizer. So we definitely follow all the protocols, and everybody knows that you have to wear the mask, and we will social distance everybody properly and make sure everybody still has a great time, but obviously following the protocols and safety.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, don't be a mask hole. I
Hey,
hear my kids all the time. Brian?
if I could just say something real quick before we wrap up here, whether you look at Mike's Facebook page or the other group's Facebook pages or YouTube's or everything, it's just filled with content. Like when we go on your Facebook, we can see that you're enjoying Tim Hortons, that you're singing, you're brightening everyone up, you're sharing these good, positive paranormal, articles and everything that's important to you. And then even on the YouTube, it's just there's so much content there. It's long form, it's short form for the people that don't have that much time. Even the new group that you're on. I mean, there's just so much content to consume and to really enjoy. So I mean, any of the links that we sent, there's no drought. And it's clear that when there's a lot of content there, it's backed with a lot of passion. So, of course, we really appreciate you, getting out the good stuff to the community. So I appreciate you, Mike.
And I appreciate the kind words. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Well, yes, 100%, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast, man. I told you I'll lose track of time real easy. So we went over by an hour. I appreciate you hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. And we had some good topics too. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, viewers. We appreciate and love you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's next on the list. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for all the awesome comments this week. You guys came through for us. We really appreciate you.
It was a good discussion.
Oh, 100% from everybody in the whole chat and everything. Karma, thank you so much. Hopefully, I haven't seen you come on before. Hopefully, we see more of you. Holly Miner, it's good to see you. Aaron Kasmarsik, man, I've known her for decades. So it's cool to see you on come back. And of course, Darren and Justin and everyone else, man. Thank you, everyone. Next week is our big MadCon 3 push. We have Adam Kimmel himself coming on, along with Chris Musgrove, and I believe that his wife might be coming on too. I know she plays a huge role in MadCon 3. So awesome guest next week to push for the MadCon, and then after that, of course, we have more awesome guests. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We look forward to next week. Tomorrow on RU Media, actually, they have Chris Musgrove and Adam Kimmel on that show that I'm drawing the blank on. Why can't I think of this right now? What is wrong with me? Why does my brain do this to me? Does anybody know?
It's Ghost.
It's Ghost. Ghost in my brain. It's like Ghost in the Shell, but it's in my brain.
Yes.
Ghost in the brain. That's what we're going to call it. Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the brain. Cryptic Paranormal Show is what I'm talking about. Again, tomorrow, same time, same place. And they will, of course, be talking about all of those locations and starting the big MadCon 3 push. So, everybody, thank you again for coming on. Thank you for helping us push through this hump day.
Peace out, all.
Hey, everyone.